insights, picks, results. This is Wizard Sports Picks. Beyond the Lines.
Welcome to another edition of Beyond the Lines for Sunday, April the 5th, presented by Wizard Sports Picks. Ian Cameron with you. A happy Easter to those of you that celebrate it. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday, and we've got a busy Sunday, and we will be breaking down a couple of games on Sunday. We will talk about the NIT championship game in college basketball. We'll talk about that and give you a pick from that game, and we will also talk about another UFL game taking place here in Week 2 of the United Football League season between Birmingham and Houston. We're doing very well with our picks here on Beyond the Lines in the UFL. 3-1 so far this season with UFL picks here on the videos. So we'll see if we can keep that going. We cashed a ticket with DC in their blowout win against Columbus on Friday night. So we'll see if we can add another UFL winner to the ledger here on this edition of Beyond the Lines. Make sure you check out wizardsportspicks.com, daily premium picks, and of course, not just that, but long-term subscriptions as well. 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, 1-year all sports, all access passes available. Make sure you check it out. Tons of great handicappers. It's been great from day one for me at Wizard Sports Picks, up over 25 units of profit in all sports combined. Number one in the NFL this past season, currently number one in the NHL and college basketball this season. So it's been great, profitable in the NBA, and Major League Baseball underway as well. So there's still lots going on. So make sure you check it out at wizardsportspicks.com and enter your email address on the homepage, and you will have free picks sent to your inbox. So make sure you do that at wizardsportspicks.com. All right, let's get into the Sunday games. We'll start with the NIT Championship. The NIT Tournament Championship game, Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Tulsa taking on Auburn. Auburn 5.5-point favorites, 160 the total here in this game. To Auburn's credit, I think they've gotten better as this tournament's gone on. I think that's pretty fair to say when you look at their results. They kind of, won in just unimpressive fashion, I guess you could say, early in the tournament. I think they're definitely coming off the best game they've played in this tournament against Illinois State. It turned into a romp for the Auburn Tigers. And one thing that probably is a bit of a concern here in this game, especially for Tulsa, is the athleticism. How are they going to handle it against this Auburn team? The Tigers, when they get things going, it could be a little bit difficult, and the offense finally was able to come to life in the victory in the semifinal against Illinois State. But let's not forget what Tulsa was able to do. Tulsa beat a pretty solid New Mexico team to get to this point, and Auburn, as favorite, still has had some problems. I mean, the Illinois State game, was the first time that Auburn's covered a point spread here in the NIT tournament as a favorite. So that's a little bit concerning when being asked to lay 5.5 here in a matchup like this. Both teams, I think, should have offensive success here in this game. When you look at it, it is a very high total, but Auburn plays fast. Tulsa plays fast. I could see both teams being able to score and being able to put up their share of points. I still have concerns laying, nearly 2 possessions worth of points here with Auburn. Auburn is not a great free throw shooting team consistently. The defense can have some lapses. Let's not forget that even in the Illinois State win, especially in the first half, they still allowed Illinois State offensively to have a lot of success. This is a very good Tulsa offensive team. Tulsa has all season been very good at being able to score points and shoot the basketball. So I'm kind of looking at the underdog and the over here in this game, and I'm going to look at those 2 picks for my recommendations here for this NIT Tournament Championship game. So I will go with Tulsa plus 5.5 against Auburn. Again, Auburn is just 1 point spread cover in this NIT tournament so far. They haven't been great as favorites. I like the way Tulsa's playing. They've beaten some quality competition. They led pretty much wire to wire against New Mexico, and I think they can make this a close game. So I will go with Tulsa plus 5.5, and I will also go with the over 160 here in this game between Tulsa and Auburn. So Tulsa plus 5.5, over 160 for my 2 recommendations, side and total, for the NIT Tournament Championship game. All right, let's go to UFL Week 2 action. It's the Birmingham Stallions taking on the Houston Gamblers. Birmingham 7.5-point road favorites in Houston, 44 the total. Birmingham could blow this Houston team out simply because Houston could be that bad. They could be. That because no team had a worse performance in week 1 of the UFL season than the Houston Gamblers. They got destroyed by the Dallas Renegades. Their defense was horrific. Austin Reed and the Dallas offense did anything they wanted. Austin Reed, the quarterback, had over 350 passing yards, setting records here in the UFL. It was ugly. The secondary couldn't cover anybody. There were busts in the secondary. Players left wide open, before there was a Houston defender in the area. That's the kind of defensive showing it was for Houston. It was terrible. The offense was almost as bad, especially in the first half. Nolan Henderson, when he was at quarterback, they couldn't move the football. He was inaccurate. He started the game 3 for 9 passing, and it got to the point where Kevin Sumlin said, I got to make a quarterback change. I got to try to spark this offense after being down big already at halftime. And that's when he turned the reins of the quarterback spot over to Hunter Deckers, the former Iowa State quarterback. And now I understand a product of this could be Dallas had a big lead, maybe playing a little soft on defense because of that. But there is no denying how much better the offense was for Houston with Hunter Deckers at quarterback. He gave them a spark. They moved the football. Almost all of the total yards accumulated by the Houston Gamblers offense last week at the quarterback position came from Hunter Deckers when he came into the game, not Nolan Henderson, who was awful in the first half. So Hunter Deckers did give this offense a spark, and Sumlin already has made it known that Hunter Deckers will start here for Houston in week 2 against Birmingham. Really, it's the only move he could make. I mean, it was really a struggle for Henderson. Deckers gave this offense some life in the second half. I like the move going to Deckers at quarterback. So this is one of these games where you look at Houston last week and you say to yourself, are they that bad? And if you think they're that bad, you probably have to lay the points here with Birmingham. But if you think they can improve, and if you think there's room for improvement, and if you think the quarterback change to Hunter Deckers can give this team a lift and a spark, then I think you can make a case to take the 7.5 points with Houston. And the other side of this argument that I'm going to make is that I don't think Birmingham's as good this year. I don't. I think this Birmingham team is not that dominant spring football team and franchise that they have been over the years. And I think the coaching of Skip Holtz was a huge reason for the success of this Birmingham team in the last few years. Well, they don't have Skip Holtz anymore, as we talked about last week when we cashed a ticket with Louisville plus the points against Birmingham, a game that Louisville almost won straight up but fell just short. Birmingham has A.J. McCarron. He's never been a coach before in football. This is new territory for him, and it kind of looked like it last week. Penalties, some assignment screw-ups in the game against Louisville. The offense was not this explosive offense that we saw in years past. Matt Corral kind of struggled. Now, this Houston defense was pathetic last week, so this could be the game where Matt Corral at quarterback for Birmingham and the Stallions offense gets things going. It very well could be. But I think Houston's offense will certainly be better off with Deckers. They'll move the football here in this game, I think, and have some success. Birmingham's defense was really good last week, even though their offense was helter-skelter. But Louisville was still moving the ball constantly, bogging down in Birmingham territory. And they left a lot of points on the field, Louisville, on offense against Birmingham last week. And let's also not forget, Louisville played last night against Orlando in week 2. They only scored 9 points. The offense looked horrific, absolutely terrible. So let's not give Birmingham's defense too much credit for last week, because Louisville looked horrific on offense against Orlando last night on the Saturday UFL game. So this Birmingham defense could be a little bit overrated, a little overvalued based on shutting down a Louisville team that turned around and had an awful showing on the offensive side of the football last night. So I am going to go with Houston here in an ultimate buy low spot, because no team looked worse last week than the Houston Gamblers. But we're already 1-0 against the spread this year, fading Birmingham. I don't trust them laying bigger points this year as favorites. I will take a shot with Houston, as scary as it can be. Birmingham's performance last week against Louisville looks worse after seeing how Louisville played last night against Orlando. So I will take Houston plus 7.5 against Birmingham. Houston Gamblers plus 7.5 against the Birmingham Stallions. And I'm also going to take over 44 in this game with the total, because I think the Houston defense is probably going to struggle once again. I do think Birmingham's offense is probably better than they showed last week. But at the same point in time, I think this Houston offense is going to be better with Hunter Deckers at quarterback against a Birmingham defense that, yeah, they were great last week against Louisville, but Louisville did nothing on offense last night against Orlando. So maybe this Birmingham defense still does have some questions to answer here in this game. So I will go with Houston plus 7.5 and over 44 in this game between the Birmingham Stallions and the Houston Gamblers Sunday in UFL Week 2 action. That's a wrap for this edition of Beyond the Lines. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ian Cameron. Get to the website and check out wizardsportspicks.com. Again, tons of great handicappers. We've got the national championship game for the Final Four on Monday night, the NCAAB tournament. Tons of premium picks will be available for Michigan, UConn, and the national championship game coming up Monday night. NBA, NHL, down the stretch of the regular season with the playoffs approaching. MLB now underway. And I got to throw it out there. It's never too soon to do it. CFL will be starting in 2 months, the Canadian Football League, and that will be a big piece of my sports betting portfolio at Wizard Sports Picks beginning in June. So don't forget about that. So get to the website, wizardsportspicks.com. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Sunday. Have a great Easter Sunday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And thanks for tuning in to the Sunday, April 5th edition of Beyond the Lines presented by Wizard Sports Picks.